So that's a challenge. But we are pleased to induct Marty Daly into our Hall of Fame. The last paragraph in Marty's write-up in the journal that you have tonight sums up a great deal about Marty, except maybe for reminding our principal that Marty's parents, his mother Christine, who's with us tonight, are from Kerry. Sean and but maybe it just goes to prove that Cork really doesn't have the corner on the market for greatness. We have often heard Donald, our MC tonight, and his good friend Tom Burke before him, use the words learn, earn, return. Marty does that every day. But Marty has also added a fourth dimension. Marty also teaches. He teaches us that the values he learned at home, that were reinforced at St. Simon's Stock and at All Hallows, are dual. These are not just values that are just words. They are things that can carry into action, and he exemplifies them every day. Wouldn't it be great if all the CBS News at 11 o'clock tonight had to report was that there was a great reception at the Union League Club, and Marty Daly was honored for all that he does for everyone he meets. He makes them all better. Don't think that's going to happen, but that's the problem with CBS News.
Whoa! It's a roast!
Go to CBS people here, but
when did this turn into a roast?
That's their problem, not ours. Whether or not it ever makes the news, it is the breaking news that we can all bring home with us.
Just in.
Congratulations, Marty, and thanks for making all of us better.
Yeah! You should have sent an Indian up.
You gotta get this thing.
I got it.
Yeah. You gotta bend down.
Yeah! Nice! Speech!
Donald isn't the only tall guy in the place. Geez, Donald, I had a reply. I figured you were going to skewer me, and then Paul does that. My goodness. For the record, while my mom is from Kerry, my wife's people are from Cork, so I've got to straddle the line.
You good job. Yeah.
For me, a remarkable series of coincidences marked my time in All Hallows. For instance, I look back on those 4 years of learning how to write well in our English courses. Classes devoted to reading different authors, and then capturing what we read in reports and essays. Now, I don't think any of those English teachers, or for that matter, any of us students, saw email coming. Not in 1970, anyway. But isn't it a lucky coincidence that we were drilled constantly in how to write clear, concise sentences and paragraphs, long before having that skill mattered so much in our email, texting, twittering world of modern communications. Another coincidence for me at All Hallows was of a social nature when Brother Vesey appointed several of us to the All Hallows Dance Committee. It was a great way to meet girls, too. For 2 years, my job was treasurer and selling tickets to dances that featured some of the more popular bands in the Bronx put me out front with my peers, learning the ropes, how to deal with the different facets of selling something that was in demand. And then on Saturday night, preparing the gym and working the door as the crowd arrived. How many times in our working lives at CBS have we been working doors and working rooms? And the memory of what was first learned at All Hallows came in handy in all of those years. Of course, what the four of us are going to do here tonight public speaking was another one of those lucky coincidences that was taught to me at All Hallows. The great Harry Shand, and I miss Harry tonight, and we all send out our good cheer to him to get better, be here next year. Harry cast me in 2 student plays and gave all the young actors and actresses lessons on how to command the stage. I can still see Harry in the back of the gym, patrolling, telling us to speak up, punch into that line, slow down. Most of all, don't fear the audience. If you follow direction, know your lines, and work hard, the audience will respond. That was a great piece of advice when I was 17 years old, and turned out to be a great piece of advice since then. Oh, and one more coincidence, and this is sort of a goofy one. It's senior year, and for the first time, we're offered a choice of classes. Oh my God, what am I going to do with this? So a bunch of us decide to take a typing course and learn how to type. Now, those classes sure helped me up at Iona College for those 4 years typing papers and things, but the real value of that class didn't manifest itself till May of 1974, when I show up at CBS interviewing for my first job. So it's a clerical job, and I'm working the room as best I can, and I'm passing these interviews, and everything seemed to be going well. And the man who hired me looked at me and said, "Okay, I think you're in, Martin. There's just one last thing. All of our sales clerks need to know how to type. And we have to send you back down to HR and take a speed typing class. If you pass, you're in." Oh, good grief. I haven't taken a speed typing class in 4 years. But somehow, the lessons learned prevailed. And with a lot of sweat rolling down my back, I passed that test. Of course, it didn't hurt, that a very sympathetic HR person rolled out a manual typewriter for me. I mean, they saw me completely freak when I saw that IBM Selectric. For those of you under the age of 50 in the audience tonight, you can Google IBM Selectric typewriter. So coincidences. A typing course. You get your first job because you took a typing course at All Hallows. Coincidences, right? Viewed from my current station in life, those coincidences are not something anyone who leads an examined life believe are just random chances. They are instead a tribute to what All Hallows has always represented, a path of preparation for the students whose real blessing were the Christian brothers and lay teachers who came into our lives and literally transformed us from youthful teenage boys to young men. Those coincidences were the direct result, even then, of the good Lord working in our lives before we were mature enough to realize how those lessons would serve us so well as adults. Let me come back to the present here for a moment. I'd like to talk about a story that ran on the CBS Evening News. You didn't expect me to mention any other evening news. It speaks to our purpose here tonight. January 20th, 2011, marked the 50th anniversary of President John Kennedy's 1961 inaugural address. If you were an Irish-American kid living in an apartment in the Bronx, you watched that speech. The most famous passage from that speech, the "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country," is easily transposed to our experience at All Hallows. We already know what All Hallows has done for us. It's the reason we're here tonight, to make sure that what was given to us is passed on to today's students. There's another part of that speech that I would suggest has a greater significance for us tonight. Kennedy's speechwriter, Ted Sorensen, was referring to the fact that this new president was the first president actually born in the 20th century. So here's the quote. let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans, born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed. Close quote. Ladies and gentlemen, all over neighborhoods in the Bronx and Manhattan tonight, there are sixth graders who in less than 3 years will form the class entering All Hallows as freshmen in September 2014. Those future students were born in this century, the 21st century. And just like All Hallows was there in 1946 for the men we honor tonight from the class of 1950. And just like it was there a full generation later in 1966 when I and my classmates Jerry Clark, Billy Parks, Ron Ingleterra came from St. Simon with me down to All Hallows, just like it was there when we entered. We all share the goal of making sure that a strong, vital All Hallows is there when that class starts in September of 2014. We do that not only for them, but for the current freshmen at All Hallows, who will make up the senior class in the academic year of 2014-2015. So tonight, let's reach out to classmates who are not here tonight, and to benefactors who may not be aware or informed of the educational success that happens each day at All Hallows, to make sure that in our time and place, this latest and newest generation of Americans see our commitment to their future. Let's make sure that those of us born in the 20th century pass the torch of an All Hallows education to those born in this new millennium. I can't thank you enough for my honor tonight. God bless, and the best to my fellow inductees. Thank you.
Bravo!